I hate the Oilers, and I'm not a big fan of Connor McDavid either. But I'm not going to sit here and say he's not one of the best players in the league. And he's the best player to never have won. He
Yeah, for sure.
was a silver medalist in the Olympics, runner-up in the Stanley Cup Finals last 2 years in a row. Like he has tried so hard to get those accomplishments that he deserves rightfully as a player of his caliber, but is not succeeding at. And Edmonton's major downfall, their goaltending, but also the fact that they don't have players. They don't run without Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Edmonton falls apart. Like they have stronger players like Evan Bouchard sometimes and Zach Hyman sometimes, but they don't have a consistent team without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And Connor McDavid has been the captain of that team since he was 19. He's had all the pressure on himself. He talks about it very openly how hard
Yeah.
it is to be one of the best players and never to win. I think that round one exit was his breaking point. I think Edmonton had their opportunities. They switched goaltenders, they got a new coach, et cetera, et cetera. But this loss against Anaheim, from an unbiased point of view, is embarrassing. And it's sad because that team that's made the Stanley Cup Finals and the Western Conference Finals for multiple years in a row should not have gone down in 6 games against the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah.
So, my personal theory is that
All right, welcome back to the Peanut Gallery Podcast. Round one is officially over, and if you thought you had it figured out, you definitely didn't. We've got sweeps, upsets, breakout stars, and at least one team wondering how their season ended that quickly. The Ducks knocked out the Oilers. Montreal won a game with basically no shots. And now the second round somehow looks even more unpredictable than the first. So yeah, playoff hockey is doing exactly what it does best. So stay tuned. Episode 31 is full of it. Let's go. Hello, Kinsey.
I
You're not feeling well today.
feel like I've been sick for years.
Yeah, it feels that way. But you're still awesome. Hey, Kins, round one of the NHL playoffs was pretty exciting and pretty crazy. We got a lot of upsets and a lot of sweeps. So let's go ahead and recap it.
Oh, well, my bracket is so beyond busted, it's not even funny. If you had told me a month ago that this is how the playoffs were going to go, I was already pretty shocked because the teams that were in the playoffs, they're teams that we haven't seen in a little while, but this did not go the way I expected at all. Last episode, we talked about Colorado sweeping Los Angeles. They won 4-0. I went ahead and taken the liberty of assigning an MVP for each series because I like to do that. My friend gave me the idea. But my MVP for that series is Scott Wedgwood, the goalie. He had a 1.21 goals allowed average and a 0.950 save percent average. So, really good job for him. And then we talked about Carolina sweeping Ottawa. My MVP for that series was Logan Stankoven. That kid, he had a goal in every single game of round one. He had 2 goals in the first game of round two. He is unstoppable in the playoffs. And we'll talk about Dallas a little later, but I know that they are devastated that they got rid of him. Um, so shout out Logan Stankoven. Honorable mention for them, Freddie Anderson, the goalie. He also did fantastic, obviously, with his sweep. And then we also talked about the Flyers beating the Penguins 4-2. Um,
Devastating.
yeah, well, sorry about it. That was ultimately what the first team that broke my bracket. But my MVP for that series was Porter Martone. He's a rookie, and he started out that series really hot. He had 2 goals, one in each of the first 2 games, and one of them was the game winner for game one. So shout out. My honorable mention for that series, Cam York. He scored the only goal of game six. It was the overtime goal, sending the Flyers to round two. So
And then we've got the one nobody saw coming.
yeah.
The
So now the
Ducks
ones we haven't
Oilers.
discussed. The Ducks beat the Oilers.
That was crazy.
When I tell you I stayed up really late that night to watch that game. I was shedding tears of joy because I my bracket was already busted. It didn't matter anymore. I don't care. Um, sure, the Oilers are going to be one of my Western Conference teams. Don't care. Genuinely, Anaheim, out of all people, didn't even go to seven. It was just six. It was beautiful. I mean, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. I don't even know. Like I am so glad that we have officially been marked safe from an Edmonton, Florida Stanley Cup Finals. We're gonna get two brand new teams.
So I have a feeling that was a trap series for the Oilers. The Oilers thought they could just mow through the Ducks with no problem, and they kind of looked past the Ducks to the second round, and the Ducks took them by surprise for sure.
Like maybe, I don't know, but
Yeah,
genuinely, I did not see that coming at all. I did not see it
yeah.
coming at all. I
I
thought the
don't think
Oilers
anybody
had
did.
been no, but hey, good for them. Whatever. Um, so beautiful. My MVP for the Ducks, the entirety of the team, but specifically Jackson McComb. He is so silent but deadly. A defenseman. He had one goal and eight assists in that series. He led the NHL for most points for majority of the first round. Very impressive performance. Another thing series that shocked me. Minnesota beat Dallas in
Right.
um, 6 games. So for the first time in a little while, Dallas won't be touching the Western Conference Finals. Now both my Western Conference teams are out, and Dallas was one of my Stanley Cup final teams. So mega bracket busted at this point. But Minnesota, that was shocking. My MVP of that series was Matt Boldy. He had
He
six goals,
was
including
lights
two.
out.
Yeah, he always is, but he had 2 goals or 6 goals, including two empty net goals in game six. He was fantastic. Just a unbelievable player all around. He was unbelievable in the Olympics, unbelievable in Minnesota Wild, unbelievable in juniors,
Yeah.
etc. But I did not think that Minnesota was going to beat Dallas. I don't know what happened to Dallas. It was a really good series. It didn't even go to seven. I really thought it was going to go to seven, but it's shocking. So shout out Minnesota. Hopefully, and they put up quite a fight against Colorado already. Last night they had round one. The game ended up being 9-6. Goals scored everywhere. Like it's going to be a really,
Yeah.
really interesting series. 9-6 in favor of Colorado. But
Yes.
anyway, um, then
And
Vegas beat Utah.
well,
Utah
well,
put up a
let's
fight.
go back. Let's go back to Matt Boldy. So he's
Oh
only
yes,
25 years old,
yeah,
and he's a force to be reckoned with. I think as he gets older and better in the league, because
yeah.
he definitely took the team on his shoulders and just carried them through the series for sure.
Yeah, and he carried them through the regular season as well. Like
Yeah,
he was one of the Minnesota leading goal scorers on top of Kirill Kaprizov. Um, he is a phenomenal hockey player, like generational talent right there, and has only gotten better as the years go on.
yeah,
So
for sure. All right, so next we can have the Vegas and Utah.
yes, Vegas they put up quite a fight, or Utah put up a fight. They tried really, really hard. Ultimately, overtime was not their friend in the series, and they ended up losing to Vegas 4-2. Um, it's sad, with everybody. When my bracket already busted, I was full on rooting for Utah. But at the end of the day, they did a really good job for their first ever playoffs. My MVP for that series is Brett Howden of the Vegas Golden Knights. He was the unexpected powerhouse of the series. You would have expected Mark Stone, Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel to be your top players, but Brett Howden, he was the top player in my opinion. He had majority of the goals to secure the series, including the shorthanded goal in the second overtime of Game 5. So he's not a name you hear very often, but he played really, really well in this series for the Golden Knights. I don't like the Golden Knights, but I can give credit where credit is due, and Brett Howden did really well in this series. So,
Well,
um,
I think the Mammoth put up a good fight. I honestly
yeah,
didn't think they were going to even win one game in this series because I thought Vegas was going to just mow them down. But Mammoth came out fighting for sure. And
yeah, they definitely had a lot of energy to start the series, and then kind of fell off in Game 6. They were
yeah,
outshot or they were outscored 5-1. So, but It's okay. It was their first ever playoffs. It's a very young team,
Yeah,
you know. I
absolutely.
think they did really well for that.
And I think they're going to be even better next year. So
Yeah,
expect them to get into maybe win the first round, maybe second round next year for sure.
depending on who they play for sure. And you know, they had a great inaugural season too. The Western Conference was just a lot better last year than it is this year.
Hmm.
So, and then we have the Buffalo Sabres beating the Bruins in 6 games. Obviously, I saw that coming.
My Cinderella
Um,
story. That's right.
ev-
Come on,
Everybody
Sabres.
was like, Bruins in six, Bruins in six. There's no way. Buffalo did not back down. There was not a single game where they stopped playing 60 minutes of hockey. I know they lost 2 games, but it's not like they weren't playing at all, you know? My MVP of that series, Alex Lyon, their
Their goalie was
goaltender,
he was out of sight.
both Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Alex Lyon both did a fantastic job whenever they made starts. Um, he just had an unbelievable performance. My honorable mention was Bowen Byram. He is a former Cup winner with Colorado Avalanche. He stood out to me a lot in this series. He's not a very like noticeable player most of the time. He's one of my favorites, but like if you don't know Bowen Byram, you don't really watch him play. But he was a standout in this series. He had a couple of goals. He was all over the ice. So good for Buffalo.
And
Um,
then the best series of the round,
yes, last night,
Montreal and Tampa Bay,
an
and that was a
absolutely crazy game seven.
shocking game seven. Yes, that was
Tampa
insane.
Bay is starting to look like the Toronto Maple Leafs, knocked out of the first round the last 3 years in a row. They thought they were free since Florida was not playing them in the first round this year, but they were not free. Montreal had their number, and yesterday's game was absolutely unreal. Montreal only had 9 shots on goal with
I
none in
know,
the
isn't
second
that
period.
crazy?
It was so weird. I looked and they were up 1-0. They only had 4 shots on goal. I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, and then in the third period, there was an absolutely beautiful goal by Alex Newhook. Purely luck. Like it's a 1 in a million shot that he got that in. It was off of a fantastic feed from Lane Hudson. It looked like it was going in, and Alex Newhook just basically batted it right into the net, which ended up being the game-winning goal. They did everything during the 6-on-5. At one point, they had a 6-on-4. Tampa Bay had 6-on-4, and still didn't score. And Montreal ended up pulling out and beating Tampa Bay. It's the first time we will not have a Florida team in the Stanley Cup final since 2019.
Yeah,
Jacob Dobish, the Montreal rookie goalie, was fantastic last night. Both of Montreal's goalies are rookies. So the fact that Jacob Dobish was up against Andre Vasilevsky and a very good high veteran Tampa Bay Lightning squad and somehow managed to stop. I think they had a total of like 30 shots on goal, so 29 out of the 30 shots on goal stood on his head. He was a brick wall. Taking Montreal into the round two was absolutely phenomenal. So I don't like Tampa Bay. I love Montreal. I'm very happy for them. But this also is huge for Buffalo, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, last night was insane. My MVP for this round was Uri Slavkovsky. He was a force to be reckoned with. He is the former first overall pick of the 2022 draft, a phenomenal player, and he was making big plays throughout this entire series. But there were a lot of other silent but deadly guys: Caden Gooley, Alex Newhook, Lane Hudson, who always is playing his best. Um, just Montreal did a really, really good job. They were faced with a very difficult opponent. A lot of people didn't believe in them, and they showed them, and it was a very entertaining game seven. A lot of Tampa Bay fans are pissed. How can you win with only 9 shots on goal? That's pure luck.
that's
I
yeah.
mean, a goal is a goal.
don't think I've ever seen that though. But only 9 shots on goal, and they end up winning
It's
the
it's a
game.
Stanley Cup record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's
But no,
crazy.
like there's nothing that Montreal or Tampa Bay fans can say. Like, yes, luck played a role in it, but luck is luck. You know, Montreal got lucky. They weren't paying the refs or anything. It was simply Alex Newhook was in the right place at the right time, and Nick Suzuki had a great first goal. And at the end of the day, Tampa Bay didn't do enough yesterday, which is shocking compared to
Yeah.
if you didn't watch the game and just looked at the statistics, it's shocking. But you had to watch the gameplay. It was very entertaining. The only game seven we got from round one, and it ended up being fantastic. So all of the games last night were so good.
All right. Now we've got to talk about round two, and round two is set. And honestly, Kenzie, this one feels wide open. Um, I can't even predict who's going to take over who. So, what you think?
I mean, like I said, I went 4 for 4 in the first round. This is very brand new territory. We'll start in the
Yeah.
West. We have the Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild, two of the best teams in the league. There are a lot of factors that play into this. Last night we got a taste of what that series is going to look like. Two of the best goaltending duos with Scott Wedgwood, Mackenzie Blackwood, and then Jesper Wallstedt and Philip Gustafsson. And then you have the two best defensemen in the league, Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. It is truly a best on best round. Like it's going to be crazy. So yesterday, round two, game one, there was a total of 15 goals scored. At the end of the second period, it was 5-5. The Avalanche had a 3-0 lead. Then the Minnesota Wild came back, tied it, took the lead at one point. It was a crazy, crazy game. And then the Avalanche came and ended up winning 9-6 with two empty net goals. I think that's just a taste of what this round is going to be like because it's two of the best goaltending duos, but then there's also two of the most high scoring teams in the league. So I, taking all factors into consideration, am going to go Colorado Avalanche on this one, despite the President's Trophy curse, simply because but I mean, it could go either way. At the end of the day, I think that Colorado is a stronger offensive team, but even then, that's a stretch. Like Minnesota has great offense, but they also have really good defense. Like you have Cale Makar and Devon Taves, but on the other side, you have Brock Faber and Quinn Hughes. So like genuinely, I have no idea how this is going to go. The fact that last night there were 15 goals to decide that game, both teams were there to play.
Yeah.
So Colorado's main struggle is going to be their power play. They have an awful power play. Minnesota's main struggle, TBH is also going to be their power play. So genuinely, I don't know. I love both teams. I'd be happy with either. The President's Trophy curse could come in and kick Colorado's butt in this round, or I don't know. They are a very evenly matched squad, and in the regular season they were evenly matched as well. So I think this is going to be a phenomenal series, and I'm very curious to see what happens. I couldn't predict it. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I think the Wild have a pretty good chance of taking this one, but you're right, though. I mean, Colorado is already up 1-0, and the Wild. I, I'm still going with Wild taking on this one series.
It's all going to depend on game two. If the Wild can make
Yeah.
it a 1-1 series, I think it'll be a lot better for them. I mean, if we look at it from a statistical point of view, the Stars and the Avalanche, two of the top teams in the league, Minnesota does not have an easy path to the cup. They scraped by, got through Dallas in 6 games. Now they're up against the number one team, President's Trophy winner, Colorado. That stinks for them. Like that's really sucks. But they are persevering, getting through. Minnesota beat Dallas, and Dallas beats Colorado. So if Minnesota can beat Dallas, why can't Minnesota beat Colorado?
That's what I'm
So
saying.
like
Exactly.
statistically they're evenly matched, very strong teams. I think this is going to look a lot like the 2023-2024 second round matchup between the Avalanche and the Stars. That was a very stressful and intense matchup um, that the Avalanche eventually ended up losing in game seven. So we'll have to see. But you're going to go Wild. I'll go Avalanche, but like so fair.
Now,
Personally, if the Wild win this series, I think they could take the cup.
ooh.
I mean, they beat Dallas and Colorado. If they beat both of those teams, I don't really know who could slow them down. But we're just gonna have to see.
uh, Assuming they're going to take the Western Conference, they still have to get through Hurricanes and well, Sabers. You know,
Yeah, but think about it. The Hurricanes. Well, we'll get into that in a second.
or
Anyway, I
Sabers.
don't know. I
Um,
mean,
Now
and
I'm saying the Wild, but in my bracket, as you recall, I did pick Avalanche to win the series. So we'll see.
yeah.
Then again,
Well,
I thought Avalanche was going to play Dallas, not Minnesota.
yeah,
So
right. Um, Keeping in mind yesterday the fight that the Minnesota Wild put up, that was without two of their best players, Jonas Brodin and Joel Eriksson Ek. So if they get those two back in the series, it'll be significantly better for them. Cale Makar was also on a revenge streak yesterday. He got injured very early into the game, went back to the locker room for a little while, came back, scored 2 goals, and had an assist. So, I think it's going to be a game by game situation. I'd be happy if either team won. Like I said, my bracket major busted, so anybody can win at this point, and I'd be totally fine with it. So anyway, um, moving on to Vegas versus Anaheim. You know what? I think Anaheim's riding a major high. We have not gotten a taste of what the series is going to look like yet. Game one for that series is tonight at 9:30 Eastern time. Um, I think that Vegas is going to go into it a little bit scared because Anaheim beat Edmonton, and that's crazy. Um, I don't know how much of that was luck slash Edmonton being down on themselves or what, but that's going to be an interesting series. Ultimately, I am going to say Vegas, but if Anaheim were to win, I think it'd be really funny.
I don't think Anaheim has a chance really. I don't know if it was luck they got past Oilers, but I don't think they have the bench. They're deep enough to be able to beat Vegas. So definitely taking Vegas in this one for sure.
We're going to have to see. That's going to be a battle of goaltending. It's going to be a battle of
Yeah, it
goaltending.
is.
We'll see. I don't know. If Anaheim wins, though, then all the evil teams will officially be eliminated. Tampa Bay, Edmonton, Vegas, so and LA, so and Ottawa. So anyway, we'll see. I don't know. We'll get a taste of that round tonight.
Yep, it'll be interesting.
Um, Moving on
So
to the
on
Canes
the
versus
other
the Flyers.
side, yeah, Eastern Conference, you have Canes versus Flyers. Game two is tonight at 7 o'clock. What you think?
Well,
And Canes are up 1-0.
I fear the Flyers sauntered into Raleigh on Saturday night, high on their horses, riding whatever drugs they were on, not physical drugs, but like dopamine from that win versus Pittsburgh. And
Tell you
then
what drugs
they,
they were on: steak and cheese.
yeah. And then Carolina walked in
You know,
and
because Philly is known for
Philly
their
cheesesteak.
cheesesteaks.
Yeah. Punched them right hook right in the face. Philadelphia lost 3-0 on Saturday. It was very
Yeah,
humbling for them. I would love for that series to go to five because I would like to go to game five. Obviously, I
for
cannot
sure.
be at game two because, I'm at school, but game five is scheduled to be next Tuesday. Um,
We're definitely going
yeah.
as long as tickets are
Will
good.
they make it to five? Just gonna see.
I think they will. I think they will. I think they will. I think they'll win at least one game in Philly. Um, so I'm not worried about that.
I
But I
am.
don't know. I don't think the Flyers are going to get past the Hurricanes at the end. I think the Canes are.
Uh-uh. I mean,
Um,
I don't think Rick Tocchet will let it be a sweep. The coach, I don't think he'll let it be a
I
sweep.
don't think so either.
Um,
Yeah,
but I think the Flyers got a very sour punch in the face on Saturday, and now they have to realize what they're up against because the Canes, specifically their goaltending, is powerful, and so is their team. And the Flyers, we call them the Flyers fraternity. Like they are a bunch of young would-be frat president
yeah.
boys running around and the stars of that team, whereas the Canes are a very sophisticated, like well-rounded team. So it's definitely going to be a scrappy series. I hope it goes to five because I would love to see the Flyers play. It's adding a new team to my list, and I would love to see the Canes play in a playoff game again. But yeah, I think that's going to be a really funny series. I hope it goes to five. But right, I mean, I have Canes fully Canes in five, if not Canes in six.
Well,
If the
the
Flyers
Canes
win
are
not put up two.
the Canes are favored heavily for tonight's game. So we'll see
Oh,
if
for
the
sure.
odds makers are correct or not. But I do think that Flyers are going to win at least one in
I
Philly
hope
for
so.
sure.
I'd love to go.
All right, so next we have Sabres and Canadians. What do you think?
So fantastic news for Buffalo.
Is it?
I think that they will have an easier time getting by Montreal than they would have Tampa Bay. I think the Tampa Bay but Buffalo series would have been beautiful. They they would spend more time on top of each other than they would have with the puck on their stick. Like that would have been a scrappy series. But that's not what we're getting. We're getting feral. We want the cup so bad. Buffalo versus sweet innocent little Montreal. I think it's going to be a hard fought series. despite people's thoughts, but I do think that Buffalo is going to end up winning. Yeah,
I think this is an even series. As far as strength is concerned,
yeah,
uh, tonight's game, oh, not tonight's, May 6th game. Why are they playing so late?
because
We're
Montreal
supposed.
just finished last night. They're flying
Oh, they
back from
did.
Tampa
Oh, that's
Bay,
right.
have to
Yeah,
go to
yeah, yeah.
Montreal,
That's right. So, May 6th game is going to be an even game. Either team's going to is able to win. But I definitely, I think I have a feeling this series is going to come down to 7 games.
I think it'll come down to 7 or 6 games. I mean, they are, like you said, very evenly matched. Like you have defense, you have your Rasmus Dahlin, Lane Hudson. Offense, you have like, Josh Doan has been huge. Your Slafkovsky for the other side, very evenly matched in age as well. So I think that this is along the same caliber as Minnesota and Dallas, except the Eastern Conference version, um, except two different levels of skill. Um, we'll have to see. I mean, again, I'd be happy if either team won. I do have Buffalo winning the cup, but it'll be a very interesting series. We haven't had a taste of what it's going to look like yet, but um, I think Buffalo fans are very happy to have gotten Montreal over Tampa Bay. And I think Montreal fans are very happy to have gotten Buffalo over Boston. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's going to be a good series. It's going to be a little adorable series. Very young little guys competing against each other. There's no, like, neither of those teams have solid playoff experience. So it's just going to be like, chill, maybe. I don't know. It could not be because Buffalo's kind of ravaged right now, but they want that cup so bad.
Yeah, they do. Um, all right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, Connor McDavid. Because with the Oilers out, the question starts: is he going to stay with the Oilers? I know he's under contract till 2027. In 2025, he signed a 2-year contract for $25 million. That's good money. But what's going to happen after 2027? Is he going to stay with the Oilers, or is he really pissed off about the fact that the Oilers can't get past that hump to win the cup, and he's going to want to go somewhere where he knows he's going to be able to win?
So this has been a very big conversation the last couple of weeks, especially when Edmonton started to struggle in the playoffs. Connor McDavid, it was a huge situation last year. He was eligible for an extension. Everybody was wondering, is he going to stay with Edmonton or whatever? He only ended up signing a 2-year contract. And that shocked a lot of people because 2 years, it's not a lot of time, It's not a long time. And this has kind of come from a perspective biased aside because, like I said, I mean, I hate the Oilers and I'm not a big fan of Connor McDavid either, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's not one of the best players in the league. And he's the best player to never have won. He
Yeah, for sure.
was a silver medalist in the Olympics, runner up in the Stanley Cup finals last 2 years in a row. Like, he has tried so hard to get those accomplishments that he deserves rightfully as a player of his caliber, but is not succeeding at. And Edmonton's major downfall, their goaltending, but also the fact that they don't have players. They don't run without Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Edmonton falls apart. Like they have stronger players like Evan Bouchard sometimes and Zach Hyman sometimes, but they don't have a consistent team without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And Connor McDavid has been the captain of that team since he was 19. He's had all the pressure on himself. He talks about it very openly how hard
Yep.
it is to be one of the best players and never to win. I think that round one exit was his breaking point. Um, I think Edmonton had their opportunities. They switched goaltenders, they got a new coach, et cetera, et cetera. But this loss against Anaheim, from an unbiased point of view, is embarrassing. And it's sad because that team that's made the Stanley Cup finals and the Western Conference finals for multiple years in a row should not have gone down in 6 games against the Anaheim Ducks.
Yep.
So, my personal theory is that he's gone by the March 2027 deadline, trade deadline, 2028 or maybe 2027, but 2028. I think that Edmonton knows that he's going to leave. I think it's going to be a very similar situation to the Quinn Hughes problem because Quinn Hughes, contrary to popular belief, was physically and mentally exhausted from carrying the weight of the Canucks on his back. That team made him physically ill because they were not playing to his caliber. And so he went to a team that plays to his caliber. Minnesota matches his energy. Connor McDavid needs a team that can play behind him, not just Leon Draisaitl. So I think Edmonton knows that. They're not going to let him walk with free agency, though. I think that'd be really dumb. They can get something huge for him. It's going to be another blockbuster trade, just like the Quinn Hughes trade was. It's going to be a matter of can the team afford it and who can they send back because it's going to require 4 or 5 first round picks to get Connor McDavid.
Right.
So I think if he's not gone by March, then he's going to be gone by the March after that. Um, I do not think he'll sign an extension with Edmonton. If he does, then it's a nope, I don't see any scenario in which he does because he's 29 years old. He is too young to throw his career away spending it with Edmonton because their window is closing. They're going to have to rebuild eventually. They've made the Stanley Cup finals, they just haven't won, you know? So, my top 2 picks for Connor McDavid based on teams that can afford it and teams that have stuff to send back Vegas and unfortunately Carolina. Um, I think Vegas has the talent to send back and also the cap space because they always seem to have cap space. They know how to work the system. Carolina also has the talent to send back and the room for him. So we're just going to have to see. But I do not see any scenario in which Connor McDavid stays. I do not blame him if he wants to leave. I do not like him, but he is a fantastic player, and I think he deserves to have his name on the cup. I don't want Edmonton to ever touch the cup, though. So if he's going to win the cup, he has to leave. Um,
So,
so
so the question is, which one do you hate the most? Edmonton Oilers or Connor McDavid?
Edmonton
Oh,
Oilers. I don't like Connor McDavid, but I have a lot of respect for him as a hockey
right.
player. And so I do feel really bad for him. Like I've gotten to a point now where I do feel sad for him that he is not winning.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't think Connor's going to stay with Edmonton. I think he sees the writing on the wall, and also, you know, I think he in his mind the stay has gotten a little stale, so
Yeah.
he's ready to go and try somewhere else and hopefully be able to win a cup. And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind him coming to Carolina and playing with the Hurricanes because I think it's going to be a great addition to them. Um, but who would he
No.
replace?
So
Now, if Carolina wins the Stanley Cup this year, I don't think they're going to pick up Connor McDavid because they're not going to have a need. But I think if they don't win the Stanley Cup, they're going to try to find a hole where they can put a player like call it Connor McDavid in there.
so here's the thing. To get a good player, you have to give good players.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, Carolina has a lot of top tier talent. I think that some players they would consider sending over. Unfortunately for me, Jackson Blake, Andrei Svechnikov, Logan Stankoven, 3 top tier players that Carolina, I think, would be open to moving. It would suck for Carolina. Like Carolina loves and appreciates all 3 of those players. Um, but Minnesota loved and appreciated Steve William and Liam Ogren and Marco Rossi. So not as much as Carolina appreciates those 3. But anyway, Carolina also has a first round pick in 2028, so that they can send. Vegas, again, a lot of top tier players. They have I don't think they get rid of Mark Stone or Mitch Marner or Jack Eichel, but potentially, Pavel Dorfiev, he's had a great season. If he keeps that up, he could be a contender. Noah Hannafin, Brett Howden, um, potentially Mitch Marner. So Just gonna have to see. I don't think Connor McDavid will go to a team that's not good. I don't think he'll go to like a
I don't
potential
think so.
playoff team
No,
like
I
New York Islanders or whatever. I think he's going to go straight to a top tier team whose window is still open. And Carolina and Vegas are those two teams. Dallas, if they have the cap space, is a contender. Colorado, I don't know if they have the cap space, but that's also a contender. It has to be a team that has the talent to send back, but also can fit his $25 million contract in.
yep.
So we'll see. I don't know, but it's going to be blockbuster. It's going to be huge. And another thing, if Connor McDavid goes, I think he and Leon Draisaitl move as one. So me personally, I don't want to see them separated. I like their little dynamic. Um, so who knows? They might come as a package deal.
Is there a chance that Connor McDavid will go to the Panthers, Florida Panthers?
I think their window is closed, but
Think
people who have gone there have had success. Matthew Tkachuk,
yeah,
Kyle
absolutely,
Koso. Um,
absolutely.
so potentially,
And
I think Connor McDavid. Oh, Brad Marchand. I think Connor McDavid hates them. So
and they've always and Panthers have always I have recently in recent years have been ready and able to win the cup.
yeah,
Now, I'm not sure what happened this year, but they've
they
had a
were missing their two
strong
best players.
they've had a strong team to win to have a potential to win the cup. And I think Connor McDavid, if I were him, I would call my agent and say, hey man, find me a place on the Panthers team.
I mean, listen, they have good people to send over too.
Yeah,
Florida is definitely a potential. So
absolutely.
um,
To send a couple of first and second round picks, you know.
yeah.
Um, but I tell you, if he goes to Florida, they're going to be a force to reckon with more than they are now.
Or it could turn into a power dynamic. Sasha
That's
Barkov,
true.
Matthew Tkachuk, Brad Marchand, Evan Rodriguez, Sam Reinhart, Connor McDavid. That's a lot of negative energy on
especially
one
especially as
team.
especially as alpha male as McDavid is,
Matthew is yeah. It's gonna be a
and then
very it
Matthew
would
Kachuk is.
yeah,
Wait, which Kachuk is it?
Matthew.
Matthew, yeah.
It'd be a toxic. I would not want to play against
I
Florida
think they're going
ever.
to be
Oh my gosh.
butting heads.
We'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be blockbuster though. It's gonna be huge.
It is. It's going to be huge for sure. All right, Ken. So let's switch lines and let's go to the NBA playoffs and let's talk about the New York Knicks and how they took care of my Atlanta Hawks in a very, very, very embarrassing way, which you know, I, it wasn't good. I thought. I mean, the Hawks didn't even their team bus didn't even show up to State Farm Arena. I mean, it was like they're like, yeah, what game? Do we have a game tonight? Because they weren't there because they got beat 140-89. That was the NBA playoff history making deficit. It was crazy. It was like 60-point deficit in the second quarter.
Yeah.
I I turned it off after in middle of the second quarter. I was like, there's no way. This is yeah. Anyway, so what do you have to say about it?
Not much. I think we should roll the clip of you saying that you were going to be glued to the couch because we filmed on Thursday, the morning before the game.
I was glued to the couch until the middle of the second quarter,
I honestly think it's hilarious.
and then
I
I was
think
like, listen, Matlock seems a lot more interesting than this game.
I think Georgia teams are going to do what Georgia teams are going to do, and they're going to go out in a very fashionable style. Um,
No, this
at
wasn't
the end of
fashion.
the day, I mean,
This
it was
was
very
embarrassing.
fashionable. It was very, very, very iconic of them in a very unironic way. Anyway, so I thought it was hilarious. I checked ESPN to check the score for the Utah Vegas game and then came across because I don't follow the NBA, but I came across the Hawks game and I was like, am I reading that right? Sad, sad, sad. But you know what? It is what it is.
You know what? Um, Somewhere Trey Young. Well, I know where Washington. Um, Trey Young was sitting and just laughing his ass off watching this game. I was like, you suckers, you let me go and let's see what happened. But honestly, the Hawks were doing pretty good without Trae Young the first couple of games. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they made the playoffs, so
especially the
went from
first game,
first round
they
pick
made the
to
playoffs, which yeah, absolutely. So, um, in my opinion, I think they're better off without Trae Young. But yeah, I don't know what happened in the last game. It was just I don't know what happened. It was you're right though. It was a typical Atlanta team fashion. Uh,
it
same
reminds
as
me of the 2016 Super Bowl.
yes, exactly same as the Falcons blowout 28-3 blowout. Anyway, all right. So and then staying with the NBA, the Sixers come back. Um, the Sixers pulling off a historic comeback. What do you got to say about that one?
Well, first of all, Philadelphia is thriving. Um, not supposed to beat the Penguins, not supposed to beat the Celtics, and here we are. The Sixers had a miraculous comeback, first time in team's history that they've done something like this. Um, they completed a historic 3-1 series comeback to beat the Celtics. Boston
Isn't
had
that
originally
crazy?
never, yeah, I mean, listen, I've seen it done in hockey a couple times, but this is nuts. Boston had originally never lost a series when they were up 3-1, and the Sixers had never won a series when they were down 3-1. So they
Yeah,
reversed, and there's a first time for everything. Um, Sports playoffs all over the league have just been nuts this year
they
because
have been. I know.
the NHL playoff bracket is crazy. NBA, the Hawks are there, and the Sixers won, beat the very good Celtics. Didn't the Celtics win in 2024?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I think they did.
or
But
did Minnesota win?
I don't know which one is crazier. Is the comeback of the Sixers or the Boston just melting down, and letting it happen? I
I
don't
think
know.
Boston melting down and letting it happen is crazier to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but absolutely unreal sports statistics this year because even in the MLB, we're not in playoff season yet, but the Cubbies are at the top of the NLC, which is crazy because the Cubbies, since I've been alive, have not been historically very good. And then the Braves are on top of the NLE, which I haven't seen that since 2021. But even then, that was a Cinderella season. They sucked for the first half until the All-Star game. So all of it crazy.
Uh, by the way, Celtics did win the 2023-24 championship. So again, finally, I have this story for you. I want to get your opinion on it. So the Chinese car maker Series um, patented a voice-controlled under-seat in-vehicle toilet in April 2026, designed for long trips or traffic, which includes an exhaust system and a waste storage. Um, you can add this to your car as an option for $1,100. Would you ever want a in-car toilet, Kenzie?
Oh, unless they're finding a way to repurpose that poop into fuel or something, I don't see like how they could have that and not have significant issues with like odor or it accidentally leaking onto the street. I don't know. It seems very unsanitary.
Okay, so you say no. I wouldn't mind in-car toilets, especially since I drive a lot.
Is
But
there under their seat though? Like where is
yes,
it?
it's under the seat. Under the seat, you push a button, and it slides out from under your seat, and then it so it has a rotating heater to dry waste and an exhaust pipe to manage odor. It just doesn't sound very safe or sanitary, so
No, because
I'm gonna still wear my Depends on long road trips.
okay.
But I thought it was a very interesting thing that only the
I mean,
Chinese.
like I understand the concept of it. Like tour buses have that stuff. But
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
are pulling out a seat in the middle of driving to pull down your pants and stuff, that's a distraction. But also the point of like going to the bathroom on long road trips is to stretch your legs to avoid blood
Yeah,
clots and that kind of stuff. If you're sitting for a long road trip and you don't have to get up and go to the bathroom, like even on a tour bus, you have to get up and walk to the back of the bus, you know? So not only is it unsafe, but it also is just like not practical for the reasons that getting up and going to the bathroom is practical. So like you stop for gas, you go to the bathroom. Like I guess if you have like IBS or a small bladder, it could be beneficial for you, but I feel like that would cause more car accidents than it would solve problems with
I think it would
the
too. Also,
system.
you have other people in the car with you, or you
And
can
you're
just
pulling down
drop
your
trout.
pants.
Just get drop
Yeah,
trout right there and say, "Excuse me while I
yeah.
use the
Because then you're
bathroom."
basically pooping with somebody else in the same room. That's
Absolutely,
weird.
that's yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Again,
just don't see how. Yeah.
I can't imagine you driving with your boss to a meeting and
Conference or something. Yeah,
excuse me, Mr. Johnson, I have to go to the bathroom.
yeah.
And he's
No,
thinking,
I don't know.
he's thinking we're going to pull over and go to the bathroom. Meanwhile,
You
he's
just pull
like,
out your pants. Yeah,
"Psst."
that's weird. Also, it would be difficult for men because don't you have to like stand up and pee? So just,
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like that it would cause more problems than it would solve, in my opinion.
exactly.
That's weird.
I thought it was pretty funny. All right, Kens, that's it for episode 31. Sweeps, upsets, breakout stars, and just enough chaos to remind us nobody really knows what's coming next. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us and watching. And so please share this with your group chat, and we'll catch you next time because if sports doesn't happen, then we won't have a podcast. Kenzie, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you feel better. And once again, your vast knowledge just fascinates me. So you're awesome. And we'll see you next week.
Yep.